That's from this book we begin, Perek Sheni, the second chapter in the Rambam's Hilchos Shevitas Asor and the laws of resting on the 10th of Tishrei in the Sefer Zman book of designated times, which in this parak we discuss the halachas of the actual fast of Yom Kippurim itself. As Rambam begins halacha alpha regarding the measurement of what's forbidden to eat and drink, if someone eats on Yom Kippurim, machalon haru'uyim lecha la'adam, foods that are edible for a person to eat, kakaiseves hagas, like the measurement of a fully ripe date that's almost ready to dry up, that's large, shipochas mikabeya kamat, it's a little bit less than the size of an egg. He's going to be liable for the isra of eating on Yom Kippurim. And b'chol ha'cholim, it's from the shizah. All different food items will combine for this measurement of the kaisebes hagasa. So if someone drinks beverages, so the English is adam which are fit for a person to drink, like that of a cheekful of the one who's drinking it, of every person according to the size of his cheekfuls. Now, what is this measurement of cheekful? So it's kadesh salkum tzad echad. It's actually that if you would push the liquid in your mouth to one side, it looks like it's his cheekfuls. I mean, it doesn't mean both cheeks are full. Rather, it means to say that if you would push it to one side, it would be sticking out. It looks like it's cheekfuls. That is the measurement of liability. Now, this measurement by a medium type of a person is pachas mervius, is less than a revius of a leg. But again, it depends on the person, how big they are or small they are, regarding what the measurement would be. And all liquids would combine for this liability. If you drink a little bit of this beverage, if it's that amount, would be liable. But eating and drinking don't combine for one measurement. And the reason for that is because the sages knew that would not appease a person. Therefore, that would not be a violation of the mitzvah of inui. You'd still be afflicted even if you had a combination of the two of them, unless you have from each one independently this year. Halacha beis, whether someone eats permitted foods, or eat things that are forbidden, for example, pigul, which is a carbon that the one who's doing the avodah had in mind that it should be sacrificed or eaten beyond its time. So even if it wasn't, it inherently, intrinsically has this in psul in it. Over nicer, a carbon that actually was kosher, but it was left over its designated time, which is also forbidden. Over tevel, untyped produce, which is forbidden in avelos, or an animal just died, or wasn't slaughtered, trafus, or even was slaughtered, but it had a mortal defect. V'chelav, or certain parts of the fats of the animal which are inherently forbidden, like dam or blood. So, but still, since he ate edible things, it's just prohibited. That would be a liability of karas for eating on Yom Kippurim. Halacha gimel. Now, if someone eat or drink less than the measurement that we described, in the chayiv karas, not going to be liable for the punishment of the death of karas. Although biblically it is forbidden even half of the measurement, but in chayiv karas, the liability of karas is only going to be if one consumes the measurement of that we mentioned. Now, if someone eats or drinks the half of the measurement, we give him the rabbinic lashes, but again, not the biblical, because there's no punishment for less than the share. So let's say he ate a little bit, less than the share, but then he went again and ate. So it depends. If there is from the beginning of the first eating, meaning from the beginning of the first eating, until the end of the last eating, so it's got to be from the beginning of the first eating until the end of the last eating. If there is within the time from eating 3 eggs worth, which in Talmudic terminology is called kedeachilas pras, which pras means half of something, it means to say half of a loaf, which the loaf of is 6 eggs worth, so that would be half. The Rambam holds is 3. Some say it's 4, which is half of 8. But the measurement of time that it takes to eat that amount, which is somewhere 9 minutes, 8 minutes, 6 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, different opinions. But then Haril Mitzvah is like a shir. Then they're going to combine for the measurement because you ate in that time frame, which is like one act of eating. If not, it was longer than that. Aim start for like a shir. They're not going to combine for the measurement, and it's like you ate chatzi shir, so there wouldn't be a liability. You ate chatzi shir, again chatzi shir, again chatzi shir, and it wasn't one act of eating. So to shasa ma'at, someone drank a little bit. B'chaz v'shasa, then he drank again. If there is from the beginning of the first act of drinking, until the end of the last act of drinking, the amount of drinking a revius, it was in that time from how long it takes to drink a revius, then they're going to combine for the measurement. We don't see it as one act of drinking. Halacha hey. But if someone eats something that, not that it's forbidden, but it's actually inedible, It's not things that are fit for a person to eat. Asav mamarim, the bitter herbs, or these foul saps that come out of trees. Or he drank some type of beverage that is not fit to drink. Again, for example, tsir, which is the water that comes out of salty fish. Or the fats of fish that come out of the salty fish. Or raw vinegar. Even though he ate and drank tons of it on Yom Kippurim, he's a part of he's going to be exempt from the liability of karas. But we do give him rabbinic lashes for consuming these items. Halach above. But if he drank vinegar that was diluted with water, that's already edible. That's chayiv, it's going to be liable. Or our case is pilpilin v'zang yavish. If someone drinks chews pepper, meaning not the like the peppercorns, or dry ginger. Okay, it's similar type of things. Pati is exempt because that's not normal for people to eat. It's not considered edible things. But moist ginger chayiv is going to be liable. If he eats grape leaves, that's pata. People don't usually eat that. But grape shoots, chayiv is going to be liable. What type of grape shoots are we talking about that one would be liable for? Anything that blossoms in there, it's from Rishona till Yom Kippur, which then they're still moist and soft, so it's fit for eating. But more than that, then it's just going to be like a piece of wood, the potter, and again, it's not considered edible, and he'll be exempt. And anything something like that would have the same halacha. Halacha zayin. Achal tzali b'melech. If someone ate a roast with salt, so mitzvah from melech labasa. The salt combines for the meat, for the shear of liability for eating a food item. Tzir shlagabe yerek, brine on vegetables, mitzvah would also combine. Well, why would it combine? One's a liquid, one's a solid. Didn't we say they have different halachas? They don't combine? Yeah. Because that which prepares the food item, that's mixed with the food item, it's considered like the food item. So the dressing is like part of the vegetables that you're eating, and hence it would have the same halacha as the vegetables. Now, if someone's already full from the large amount that he ate already, until he's disgusted with food, and then he eats more than his satiation, he's overeating on Yom Kippurim, pati would be exempt. It's like he ate food items not fit for eating. Because even though this excess food that he's eating is edible for a hungry person, but it's not fit for anyone that's full like this, and for him it's considered inedible food, and hence he would not be liable for eating it. Halacha ches now regarding who's exempt and who's liable for eating on Yom Kippur. So there's a deathly ill person. I mean, there's a person that's ill, that there's danger to his life. That he eats, that he asks, he wants to eat on Yom Kippur. So even though the professional doctors say in the tzarech he doesn't have to eat, when we have him eat based on his own request, until he says, okay, it's enough, I don't have to eat anymore. Now, let's say the sick person says, I don't have to eat. The doctor says, no, he's got to eat. We make him eat based on what the doctor is saying, because maybe the sick person is afraid and he doesn't really sense how sick he is because of his illness. But as long as the doctor is a professional. Now, let's say one doctor says he's got to eat. The other doctor says, no, in the tzarech, he doesn't have to eat in Kippur. We make him eat based on the doctor says he has to. Let's say some of the doctors say tzarech he has to. Some doctors say no, he doesn't have to. So we go after the majority opinions, or the ones that are the specialists. As long as the sick person doesn't say tzarech, that he doesn't voice an opinion to say I need to. If the sick person says I need to, then we will have him eat even if the majority or the professionals are saying he doesn't have to. Now, let's say the sick person doesn't say that he needs to eat. And the doctors are in disagreement, and they're all professionals. And you can't say majority either, because the equal amount of doctors say he doesn't have to is equal to the amount of doctors say he does have to. So then, with that subject, we're going to have him eat on Yom Kippur. Halacha tes. A pregnant woman that smelled food on Yom Kippur, and she got an appetite and she feels she needs to eat. We whisper into her ear that it's Yom Kippur. In this if she calms down her consciousness with the memory, okay, it's Yom Kippurim, mutab, that's the best. If it doesn't help, so we have her eat until she calms down. If someone is possessed by this illness of hunger, and you see it where the person's eyes become faint and they can't really see well, Machil noisei at she'ura einav. We give him to eat until it illuminates his eyes. And v'afil nevelos, even unslaughtered, not kosher meat, or shkotzim and vermin. Machil noisei b'yad, we give the person to eat right away, whatever it is. We don't wait to see until we get kosher food. We give him whatever it needs to keep the person alive. Halacha Yud. A cotton ben tesha shanim, a boy at the age of 9 years old, if he's healthy, or ben esther shanim, or 10 if he's a little bit weaker. We already train him to fast a certain amount of hours on Yom Kippur. If the boy would always eat 2 hours into the day, we made another hour, 3 hours into the day. We usually eat 3 hours into the day. We haven't eaten 4 hours into the day. According to the strength of the child, we add on to afflict him proportionately more hours into the day. Ben achas esther shana. Now, when they're 11, bein zacha bein nekeba, whether a boy or a girl, misanu umashlim, they fast and they complete the fast midivrei sefer from rabbinic law to train the child in the mitzvahs. Halachid Aleph. Now, bashtem esther shana b'yem echad, a girl that's 12 years old, uben shleish esther shana b'yem echad, and a boy that's 13 years old. Shevish shtei sagas, that they brought 2 pubic hairs. So they're like adults for all halachic purposes. They reach the age and the status of the body. And they have to finish the fast from biblical law. But even if they had bar or bas mitzvah, but they didn't bring the 2 pubic hairs, they're still minors. They only have to complete the fast from rabbinic law, like we said, from age 11. A boy that's a child that's younger than 9 years old, we don't afflict him in Kippurim, that it should not bring the child to a situation of danger. Even if he wants to be stringent, we don't let him. We don't want them to fast because it would be dangerous to their health.